That's a bass. That's the right kind. Okay. That's a good bass. That's a nice one. Ooh, man. Finally picked up one of the right kind. That's what I'm talking about. Nice fish. Heck yeah. Boy, he got all of that. Sorry, bud. Heck yeah. That's a solid fish right there. 10 of those will win you a tournament out here. No doubt about that. Well, guys, this is my first time out here on Watts Bar Lake. Pretty cool place. I've only been able to come up with one bass today, so that's not very cool. But I've been able to catch a lot of other things. I've caught a lot of drum, caught a lot of, not a lot, but caught a few catfish. Just been running around in these pockets, you know, looking for bait. The bait's dying off. Water temp's 44 degrees. The air temp's about the same. It's winter, you know, it's tough. Caught a couple fish on the jerk bait and caught a couple fish on the little Demiki rig. Other than that, I haven't had much luck with anything. The one largemouth, which it was a really nice largemouth, did come on the jerk bait on a point with some wood, you know, the typical stuff. So been trying to run that same pattern the rest of the day, but it's not been producing anything. But we'll keep looking. This is just one area of the lake. I got to come down here, put my eyes on this lake for the first time. Still got several more days before the tournament, so no big deal. But this is, you know, it's a pretty good area. There's definitely some fish here. I just have to figure out how to catch them. There we go. First fish on what? Dang. You know, I've seen that there's a lot of drum down here. Oh gosh, that one doesn't even know it's hooked. Big drum. Catfish. Yep, that makes sense too. Right there underneath of them. See a bass. Get it out of here. Good Lord, he choked it. Hey, that's the right kind. Finally. We're down here at Watts Bar Lake, and it's cold. It's really, really cold. It's wintertime. It's right in the middle of February. We've had a really, really bad cold snap. Some of the coldest conditions I've ever gone out and actually fished in. Definitely had some icing of the guides. The boat ramps were slick. So it's an interesting time out there. Water temperatures are ranging anywhere from 41 to, I've seen some mid 40s in certain places. Either way it goes, it's really, really cold. These bass are in full on wintertime pattern. And that's just really a guess because I've only caught 3 in the last 3 days. I've been fishing underneath a lot of bait. Catching a lot of drum, catfish, white bass, catching a lot of everything except what we're actually trying to catch. The closest thing to a pattern that I've been able to get is that all 3 of the bass I've caught in the last 3 days have come from about 5 foot or shallower on rocky banks around wood. So that's about all I've got to go on. My game plan for tomorrow, because I've had a really bad practice, I didn't think it could get worse than Seminole. But the word on the street is I think a lot of people are struggling. Everybody seems to be catching drum and catfish just like me. So I think everybody's struggling a little bit. It's going to be really tough. The bait that I plan on throwing quite a bit tomorrow is going to be the Shad Rap. This is a number 7 glass Shad Rap. It's kind of a transparent crawl color. Looks really good in the current water color that we've got going on right now. But as a lot of people know, a Shad Rap is one of the best cold water baits made, and I actually caught one of my fish yesterday on a Shad Rap. So I definitely intend to throw some of the Shad Rap. If I can get around some of that shallow wood cover, some of those chunk rock banks, perfect place to throw this Shad Rap. Next up, I expect to play a little bit, or I'll at least try. I've been catching some fish on it all week. They've just been the wrong species. But the Demiki rig. This is the VMC Moon Eye jig. That's a 1/4 ounce. And I'm throwing I think it's a 2.75 spunk shad from Hog Farmer. That's a great little soft plastic. I haven't really caught any bass on this week, but I know it works. And if I can just get around some bass that are underneath of some, pods of shad, this is a perfect thing to drop down on them. And it's catching a lot of trash fish, but it's got a lot of smallmouth and a lot of nice largemouth too. So that's our game plan for tomorrow. We're going to go out, throw some reaction style baits, and just go fishing. That's all you can do. I feel confident about my area that there's some fish there. I'm not confident that they're going to bite. But I do have confidence that there's some fish there, and that, for a new body of water, given these conditions, just having confidence that you're around some fish can help you slow down and fish a little bit better. And that's usually when you tend to get bits, when you're fishing slower. So we're going to go out and give it hell, see what happens. Stay tuned.
All right, guys, good morning. It's day one, Hobie Bass Open Series on Watts Bar. Daggone, it's cold. We had a delayed start this morning. AJ, tournament director, basically decided that we would start 2 hours later and we would actually get 2 hours more fishing at the end of the day. So we're fishing from 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock today, which is awesome because this time of year, that afternoon bite can be so key just catching some fish. I'm not expecting much this morning. It's cold. You know, my bites have not been coming in the morning. I say my bites, I've only had a few. So fishing's been exceptionally difficult, very tough. But you know what, we're gonna come out here. This is actually where I caught that really nice bass in practice. That's basically all I had. I mean, it's the best thing I had. You know, I didn't slow down and fish these banks at all. I didn't throw a jig, I didn't throw a Ned. I didn't slow down at all. I just kind of ripped through here real quick, throwing that jerk bait, you know, and caught a nice one. So I'm just gonna spend more time in here. I feel like there's bait here. You know, I think there's should be fish here. The habitat looks great. So we're just gonna go fishing today. I don't have much, but that's okay. Some of my best days are just when you just go wing it, you know, just go fishing. Gonna cover a lot of water today. I'm not gonna sit in one spot and try to milk an area, just unless I find something worth sitting on. But you know, right now the game plan is to cover water and you know, get some baits in front of some fish's faces and make them make the decision. You know, I'm looking for reaction bites today. I don't think these fish are going to be in a feeding mode, so you're going to have to kind of force feed them, make them react, and that's what I intend to do. So let's saddle in, let's go fishing, let's see what happens. Let's make a day of it.
Hey, Red. Hey, Red. Everybody's throwing Red. Be a bass. Hey, finally. Hey, no skunk for me. Be a bass, be a bass, be a bass. Come on, baby, stay on, stay on. Be a bass, be a bass.
Heck yeah, guys, that's number 2, 16 3/4. Hey, that's 2 cranking. I think I'm just gonna keep cranking, keep covering water. Never know, might be able to run into 3 more. Let's get this guy released, keep going. Well, that wraps up day one. One of the toughest days of fishing I've had in a really, really long time. I didn't have a bite until probably almost 2:30, something like that. And I managed to pick up another fish. I've got 2 good fish. You know, just could not round out a limit today. Both my fish came on the DT6, just a craw colored DT6. As of right now, that puts me in 23rd place out of 94 anglers. So as you can see, 2 fish to be in 23rd place. It was tough today. I'm gonna go do some map studies, see if we can't figure out a game plan for tomorrow. But stay with me, stay tuned, and day 2 is coming up right now.
Be a bass.
There's number one. Same pattern as yesterday. 15 a quarter. Not bad. Let's go.
Okay.
Well, it's a little guy, but it's number two. That's as many as I caught yesterday. So still not quite up to the inches I had yesterday, but it's a promising sign. I picked up two in here. This one ate the jig. It's the first fish I've caught that wasn't on a crankbait.
Well, guys, as you can see, Watts Bar was exceptionally difficult. A lot of people struggled. I caught 4 fish total for the entire tournament and managed to stay in 23rd place out of 94 anglers. I mean, that just tells you how difficult it was. Typically, if you have 4 fish over 2 days in a tournament, you're going to be at the main bottom of the pack. But I actually, was in the top 25, which, doesn't sound great, 23rd place finish. But when you look at the overall picture of the Hobie Bass Open Series and their Angler of the Year points, that's a good finish. If you're getting in a top 25 every tournament, you're going to make the Hobie Tournament of Champions. So, and that's the ultimate goal. Obviously, there's bigger season goals, trying to win AOI. But, first on the checklist, you got to make the TOC. You have to make that Tournament of Champions if you want to make a run at Angler of the Year. Not only that, but it's pretty prestigious to be in the top 50 all season long. So, that's our goal, and came out of Watts Bar with good points. Some things that I took away from Watts Bar, going down there, in my mind, I knew the water temps were going to be in the low 40s. I assumed that I'd be fishing deep. I assumed that I would be finding pods of shad, doing vertical presentations like the Demiki rig, the Alabama rig, stuff like that, maybe a drop shot. But that actually did not play out at all the way I thought it would. Every bass that I caught, whether it was in practice or in the tournament, and I can go through, I caught like 3 or 4 bass in practice and I only caught 4 during the tournament. So all 8 bass that I caught came out of less than 5 foot of water. Now, I always hear people say, oh, there's bass shallow year round. Well, it's true, because one of my favorite things to do in the summertime is go extremely shallow in the hottest water when that thermocline sets up. So I know bass are shallow in really, really hot water, and apparently they're also shallow in really, really cold water. So don't ever overlook the shallow water bite. Even in the dead of winter, under the worst conditions, you can still catch fish shallow. Now, you might have to change up your approach. I was throwing a lot of balsa wood crankbaits, whether it was a Shad Rap or a DT6. The DT6 accounted for 3 of my 4 fish that I caught during the tournament. So those little balsa crankbaits, it's just the tight wobble that they give off, the flat-sided crankbaits, those kind of things. So you got to change up what you're actually throwing. But running bank with the sun shining on it, those south-facing banks, those were really key because they would heat up quickly in that sunshine. So that's really what I was looking for. Red clay banks, rocky banks facing the south, capturing all that sun. That was a big key for me in catching the fish that I caught. I did pick up 1 fish on the little spotty tungsten jig. That's one of my favorite finesse jigs to throw. So I did scoop up 1 that way. But that was pretty much it for me. I mean, I tried to stay shallow and just throw some reaction style baits to see if I could get some of those fish to react. So shout out to Ryan Lambert. Congratulations, buddy. He won that tournament. I think he was up in the river doing river rat stuff. So congrats to him. I tried to go up in the river a little bit, and it really just didn't pan out for me. I caught a couple up there, but not like some of those guys that were up there, you know, those river rats. That's not my style, but I'll give it a try every now and then. Hopefully I can learn and get better at fishing the current and doing some different things in the rivers. But shout out to Ryan Lambert for winning that tournament. Super difficult. I knew somebody was going to do it. Somebody was going to find him, and he managed to pull it off. But one other key takeaway from Watts Bar. I don't know the guy's name, but whoever got last place money only had 6 fish, which that's wild. He had 6 fish for his 2-day total and still cashed a check. So it's so important that you stick around for that day 2. You know, just because you had a bad day 1, I mean, it's not over. Can you win it? No, probably you can't win it, but you can get some really good points. And if you go out and have a really good day 2, you never know. You might be able to cash a check on day 2. You know, that guy that had 6 fish, I mean, I don't know what his ratio was, but what if he caught 1 fish on day 1 and was like, oh man, I'm out of it. And then day 2 completely changed it up, caught a limit, turned in 6 fish, and cashed a check. So all you guys that have tough tournaments on day 1, don't let that deter you from sticking around and fishing that second day. Everything can change on these 2-day tournaments. So I'll leave you with that. Don't underestimate the day 2 just because you had a bad day 1. Put it all together and see where you fall. Odds are you're probably going to get some good Angler of the Year points, especially at really tough tournaments like Watts Bar when the conditions are super tough. Stick it out because you never know what's going to happen. Appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you hit the subscribe button down in the corner, and we will catch you next week.